Hi, everybody. Jeff Gayduk here from Destination Film Guide, and I'm happy to be joined today by Matt Glass and Jordan Long from HCT Media. Gentlemen, how you guys doing today?
We're great. How about you?
Doing good, doing good. So I read the news about the return to production that you had with Ghost of the Ozarks, and I'm excited to learn how that went as sort of an unusual story of producers and directors out during COVID. Can you talk a little bit about the movie that you were filming?
Yeah, this is called Ghost of the Ozarks. We shot a short film about 3.5 years back as a proof of concepts. And then it was funded based off of our scripts. And yeah, we started making it last year before the COVID pandemic happened. We started building the town and all of that. And we were supposed to shoot in May of this year, but with everything happening, it got pushed back, and we kind of got stuck out there building this town amid the pandemic. And we were able to find, all the safety protocol that we needed. We locked off 2 floors of the Embassy Hotel in Jonesboro, Arkansas, and so we felt like we could keep everybody safe. And so yeah, we went after it and started shooting June 15th of this year. So
nice. So how much of the film was done prior to COVID?
None, just the town was being built. So just a lot of pre-production, and that was one of the things, right? Like you have a whole group of people, 40 to 50 people that are depending on this job. It's sometimes their only job for the year is one feature film. So we kind of came up to a point in March when everything kind of happened. And, I don't know, we kind of felt like it was our obligation if we could get people a paycheck and get them working again, because we kind of had to, because nobody else was really doing anything. Everybody kind of shut their doors. So for us, it was definitely a big thing about just trying to get the people that we always depend on. We wanted them to be able to depend on us and us to shoot something safely. So yeah,
very nice.
The majority of pre-production, most people can do their work from home. So we had the costume designers would be ordering stuff from their houses, and prop makers would be making props from their houses. So a lot of the pre-production was done quarantined separately before everybody even came to Arkansas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had about 40 to 50 on set?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Good. And then I know, you went through all the safety protocols. You had a safety task force coordinator in conjunction with SAG. So how was the process different? Obviously, you guys have shot a lot of things before this. What sort of concessions did you have to make? What sort of changes did you make in the script in order to put this together in a safe environment?
That's a mask. Oh yeah, we had to wear masks. All the crew wore masks all day long. Actors wore masks until we were basically calling action, and take their masks off and do their performances and cut, and they put the mask back on.
We even rewrote the scripts for a festival so that we could make.
That's right. Yeah. We had a thing where at the end of the movie, all the townspeople are wearing big masks, like 1800s masks. So luckily they could be wearing their masks underneath, and then those masks, they had double protection. And then the majority of our extras were, well, not the majority, but most of our extras were crew members that we would use, or a small collection of people that we had tested and vetted and make sure they were obeying rules. And then once we had them tested, we'd tell them what our safety rules were, and then they would come back the next time and tested them all a couple of times, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lots of tests.
Yeah. So you had a strict testing protocol. How did that work?
Well, we basically used HBO, bought about 10,000 of these tests right before we bought our order. They were these blood tests, and since then they've moved to nasal swabs. Now they may be going back to cheek swabs, but basically we were using everything that we had at the moment at our disposal. So we got these blood tests that are antibody and COVID tests for active infection. So we tested everybody weekly. Some people we tested more if someone was particularly seen as a potential danger. We would test them again if it was an extra that we weren't sure about. We just kind of went, above and beyond, because we just wanted to keep people safe. And so actually this is one of the first interviews we've done since it, because we just didn't want to do anything until we were 3 weeks out from filming, and we're like, okay, everyone's back home, everyone is safe. It really did work. So it's a good feeling to know we got everybody a paycheck and got them to send them home safely and where they can quarantine and do whatever they need to do. So it's nice.
Absolutely. So of the 40 to 50 crew, the majority, if not all of them, came from outside the area. You weren't using local crew necessarily for this.
Not a lot of local crew. That's kind of what that allowed us to basically quarantine while making a movie. So the Embassy Suites in Jonesboro literally locked off everything. No one came to clean the rooms. Meals could be delivered, but no one came in and out of these rooms. And they were just wonderful about helping us maintain our protocol. They gave us our own little room that no one else could go into, but people could kind of hang out in. And so we basically had these little groups where the makeup department could hang out together without mask on, and and the costume could do the same, and the lighting. And so you weren't like alone, but you were pretty in a small group to kind of keep, in case an infection were to take hold, we could quarantine it very fast and, that kind of stuff.
Smart. Yeah. And at the same time, just the social ability to be with people in your pod or your groups, you're in a strange city, you're staying in a hotel room. We've all been through that before. So just that you could have some interaction with other people, I think was important. So kudos on that.
Nice. Yeah.
So, having gone through this now, obviously the film production industry is going to ramp up again eventually. And we hear some stories of production going on, but for the most part, I think it's still really slow. Having gone through this process, what advice would you give to other productions as they look to reboot?
Yeah, and I think other productions have the luxury of it. They're either starting their pre-production now or they're not even in that place. And I think being able to adjust your script for it now isn't not important, but it would ease a lot of pain. We just didn't have the time to rewrite the movie, or didn't want to rewrite the movie for COVID, the COVID stuff. But I feel like now there's options for movies where they have the time to think about what would make it easier and still in line with their vision if they changed the script this way or did this way and that kind of stuff.
And we knew like Jurassic World was going to be fine. They would figure it out, right? And now that, you see a lot of articles about how Jurassic World's doing it, but you literally see huge buildings built just for the testing facility. And you're like, cool, that's great. But what about indie films? What about smaller films? Is it possible? And for us, it was very important to go after it and be like, yes, it is possible to keep people safe and not have that much money, but still enact protocol that helps, and will work. And I think that was important because I think, we got hundreds of calls from producers who are like, how are you guys doing this? What is have you gotten shut down yet? And there's this huge swath of people who want to get back to work safely. But it's a terrifying thing, especially it was very, very terrifying for us because every day something was changing and our protocol had to be adjusted every single day, or big actors, agencies would call and they would be like, well, what about this? And we just heard this article, and you're like, well, that's not real, or yes, that is. And we're doing this now. And so it was one of those things where we kind of felt prepared. We felt like we were the right people to take it on. We knew it was going to be a huge mountain to climb, but we're like, if we can do this, then maybe other indie films can be like, okay, this can happen. And we're already preparing for our next one next fall, just in case it's still around. We're going to act like this is still going to be a problem, and how do we deal with this? So just trying to make it better every time, I guess.
And I think other production, now that we've gone through it and a couple other productions have gone through it, there are guidelines and you can see what works and what doesn't work. We didn't really have the luxury of knowing, we were just kind of the test subjects for the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a friend of ours was shooting a TV show in Bulgaria, and she was filming all their protocols and what they were doing. They're doing the exact same stuff that we were. So I think a lot of people, at least now it's set, you're like, okay, this is what you do to make it safe. And now people know what they have to do. And so there's a little less stress going in now, I would think, than what we had.
Yeah. And you see, from other industries, you see what's worked. You see, someone in a hair salon, who had COVID, and she didn't give it to 90 of her patients because she had a mask and a face shield on. You're like, okay, that clearly works. Starbucks had the same thing happen. And you're like, okay, so if you wear a mask, we can we can do a good amount with this. And then adding on sanitizing and people staying to their stations. And you start to understand how you really can pod off, each group in the filmmaking and only come together when you have to, and then separate. And, it's just getting used to a new world, but we may have to do this for who knows how long. So it's like, why sit around and shutter your doors and, not do anything when you have to? I don't know. You just have to get out.
I agree. And I applaud you guys for taking the step out there. That is a huge move. I'm sure lots of sleepless nights, but you provided a path out for the industry. And you're right, there's a lot of people, good people out there that need the work. And the fact that you guys have blazed the trail, did it in a place of Arkansas, which is not on the map of many producers' locations, but certainly a lot of great things I'm sure you experienced there. So really appreciate your advice and what you went through, Jordan and Matt. The film you said is next October, you think will come out?
That usually seems to be the run about it. We're pretty quick in the post department. So that's what our last film is coming out. We shot in 2019. It's coming out this year, October 2nd. So I'd imagine this one would have the same trajectory. And so we just keep plugging away. And, obviously Arkansas obviously has, tax incentives, and some parts of Arkansas are local to Atlanta. So that helps you with the unions and helps you, get them for a lesser rate that you can afford as an indie producer. And there's a lot of crew from Louisiana that actually lives in Arkansas. So there's a very big hidden, filmmaking community in Arkansas that just hasn't gotten out to the world, which is nice because you get to shoot in places that have never been seen before. Everything we shot in our film, no one's ever seen these locations before. So that's a luxury that you get when you film in a new place. And it's also, just economically a lot better for indie films than filming in LA County, so where we live. So it's just a no-brainer for us.
You heard it here first. The new LA is Arkansas coming out of this.
Absolutely.
All right, gentlemen. So more information about the company. How would people find out about you? Website, social media?
Yeah, just hct.media. That'll take you to our website. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook. And you can watch. We've got, I guess, one film's out right now that we helped on, documentary. You Cannot Kill David Arquette. That's out right now in theaters. And then our next one comes out October 2nd. And then, this next one's a pretty big one, so it may take us a little bit longer, but hopefully the next one will be out next fall.
We'll be looking forward, and thanks again for your time.
Hey, thanks a lot, Jeff.